Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk for June of 2023. My name is George Ferrari, and I serve as CEO of Your Community Foundation. Our Let's Talk gatherings are an opportunity for us to learn more about what's going on in this amazing, beloved communities of which we're a part. There's wonderful things going on in the mission-driven sector, and today we have with us Caleb Thomas, who is the founder of Ithaca Murals, and he has a lot of fun information and interaction planned for us together here today. We have additional Let's Talks are scheduled in 2023. You can find that information on our website. We're going now to quarterly Let's Talk in the new year. So the next one coming up will be on August 8th with Employment Pathways with Briggs Seekins from Challenge Workforce Solutions. For the previous Let's Talks that we've done, there are archived videos and PowerPoints on our website. We're very happy to have you take a look at those. And also, if you have ideas or suggestions for topics, speakers, opportunities for us to do this, Gloria Kwaku, who's our Chief Inclusion and Community Engagement Officer, is your point of contact for suggesting how that might work for future speakers. So with that, I will welcome Caleb to help us understand more about something that is happening all over Ithaca in powerfully community connecting and visually striking ways. Everywhere you kind of look now, there's opportunity to see some of this work. So Caleb, we're so happy you're with us. Take it away.
Good to be here. Thank you, George, Gloria, and Community Foundation. And nice to see all these sweet faces in our community. And what to say? So I would say I'd stumbled upon this about 13 years ago. Inspired by a few different things, a trip out to the Mission District in San Francisco, spending some time there, hearing about Philadelphia and visiting there and the mural programs they're doing, as well as thinking about our cultural cityscape with community leaders that were making waves in this town about 13, 15 years ago, inspired by them. Before I say too much, and I love these to be interactive, these sessions, when I do presentations about murals, when I go to schools, when I'm in community groups, I like to hear from, who's in the room and hear about, what are your favorite murals? What's a mural that's meaningful to you? Maybe it's near your workplace, near your home, or just anything. And that helps set the tone. I'd love for every one of these conversations to be different when I'm at presentations. So would people put in the chat? Maybe that would be a nice way for it to be interactive and people just to jump in if people are able to just type a favorite mural.
Me too, Josiah. We have the Cars mural.
And some people might not have access to the chat. And so if people, those people want to say one aloud, feel free to jump in. Michael Copeland-Galaire, it's good to see you. It's been a while. And Michelle, we got long history. We got to catch up. Nice to see you. Gosh. Flashback. So, and anybody who doesn't have access to chat, anybody want to share a favorite mural in town? Gloria, would you be able to read one of those, kind of one at a time?
Sure.
Since I see your...
Absolutely. So Josiah's favorite is my favorite as well, and it's the new one on Cars.
Yeah, so that one, and I'll share a little bit about each one as we go. It's been an amazing last 3 weeks, but also a powerful 4 months, as we, people say, oh, that went up fast. And it's like, okay, yes, it went up fast, but also we had a lot of organizing, meeting with cars and them looking through this booklet I have of all these different artists that have applied for murals over the years or have expressed interest in painting murals in town. And as they narrowed down their choices and chose Betsy Casañas and Puerto Rican amazing artist. And then we asked her to do it as a collaboration with another artist. So who would be the artist of her dreams to collaborate with to do that? And she chose Mauricio Perez, a Colombian artist. And so they designed and painted that over the last months, and painted it over the last couple of weeks. What's the next one on there, Gloria?
So Marie shares with us that she likes to find the murals on electric boxes during her walks. And she also loves the cars one as well.
Nice. Yeah, and there'll be a slide. I've got a slideshow coming for you, and there's a slide of the 69 electrical boxes that have been painted since 2012. We started painting those, and then there's a couple new ones in the last month, and more to come.
So Emily shares that her favorite mural is the one she's sitting in. So Emily, which one are you sitting in?
Oh yeah.
I'm in the middle of one of the newest ones. This is the meditation room in the new open access detox and stabilization center. And last week, Anna Pausch came through Ithaca Murals and did a 360 mural. The whole room, all 4 walls, is wrapped in these gorgeous landscapes of our area, a really soothing, healing place. So I'm super grateful to Caleb and Anna for making this happen.
It's similar with the cars mural, the Cuba Addiction Recovery Services mural that where Emily is also a space where people are struggling with addiction and working on that recovery. And so it's wonderful to honor, center, and just love on those folks that are experiencing that, and putting those murals there. So good.
I love that, Caleb. I might have you come and paint these dull walls here in the office.
Be happy to match you with an artist.
All right.
What else you got on that list, Gloria?
Of course. So we have from Leslie, I really love the electrical boxes throughout downtown. I see them every day and I always appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, the Harmony Malone one when
Yes.
they walk the waterfront trail. George, that was from, well, it says from me, and there's quite a few of us on this call from the Community Foundation. So I'm not sure.
Well, I'm holding up an image of the Miss Harmony mural. If you haven't seen this one yet, it's on the waterfront trail near the Children's Garden. And these artists, Britt Johnson painted this one 2 years ago. She and Efren live in Austin, Texas. And they're arriving into town in 6 days to they also painted this this one is probably a little bit hard to see. That's them up on the lift with the chicken we call it the Chicken Wizard by Silo Food Truck, the Liquid State. And so this time when they're here in Ithaca, the Silo Food Truck folks have organized for them to paint the whole side of Liquid State. Facing Green Street. So they're going to be back in town for a month. That project is probably going to take them about a week to 10 days. They're looking for more projects if people have spontaneous ideas. A youth farm is interested in them painting a youth farm themed mural downtown. If all goes well, they'll be painting that in the next few weeks. Asia Cuisine, there's a lot of moving parts for that mural to happen, but excited to have more of their artwork in our cityscape.
So just really quick, I'm gonna run through a couple of more comments and then we
Awesome.
can get started.
That sounds great.
Um,
Gloria.
So we have the old fire station on the 100 block of
Mhm.
MLK. We have the one across from Kilpatrick's on the side of the parking garage.
Mhm. There's a mosaic
we have
there and a couple others. Yeah.
Yep, we have the newest one from, which is the Cars one, the mural near Sweet Melissa's. It's a great one. The Mother and Child by the
It's
post
Sweet
office.
Melissa's one. Who said that?
I am moved
Is
by,
that the Corinne mural? Is that what you're referring to? Do you want to just give me a thumbs up if that's what you're?
Yeah.
That one actually came down, sadly. The
Yeah.
fence was a even when we painted it, it was already in rough shape. And so that one sadly, these are boards from that
has
fence.
come down.
So you keep going, Gloria.
The Mother and Child, Living Waters on 6 Mile Creek, the Aurora Street, Welcome Ithaca with butterflies. Oh, we took a group photo in front of that one. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
Yes.
The arch doorways in the parking garage in Green Street. And that's it. So thanks everyone for participating in that.
And do you want to jump to the next slide?
Yeah, sure.
And so this is yeah, and now you're gonna see
Next.
different murals that we've done over the years. And as people are expressing about their favorites, why we do this. It's more than about murals. This is about community building. It's about building a movement, shifting our cultural cityscape. It's not just about beautification. So every once in a while I get these beautification awards, and that's really sweet. And I say, okay, yes, beautification. And this is about justice. This is about building the world we want to live in. And I love that our program centers artists of color, working class folks, frontline folks of all kinds, people that care about justice. You can keep going. You can go through the next slide.
Again.
There's our mission statement, which you can find on our website. In this actually, would somebody, Gloria, would you read this?
Sure.
Or George, whoever wants to
Sure,
jump
I
in.
can. Ithaca Murals is a network of people transforming gray walls into beautiful, meaningful works of art that tell the stories of the diverse people who live here. We implement a cultural arts strategy for building our communities stronger. We welcome everyone to be involved in Ithaca Murals while prioritizing the leadership of people of color, underemployed, and working class people, people with jail experience, women, LGBTQ+ community members, youth, and anyone who is passionate about justice. What would you like our cityscape to look like? Watch out. This is an artist takeover. If you're lucky, your house could be next.
And I'm really serious about that. Berta, I see you, and some of you other folks out here, if you want a piece on your garage, if you want a piece on your house. And also to say, this is about, this is a funny story about the Miss Harmony mural that someone mentioned earlier, is that also that one was done without permission from, so we, I gave a mural tour to, by car, just driving around when Britt and Efren were in town last time. And we looked at some of the murals that are already here, and also, some of the blank walls. And Britt said, I want that wall, that's the one. And so we went over to Southside, and I would say actually, it's about where we get our permission from, because we definitely, connected with Southside, and who would be nice to honor on a wall in Ithaca. So, where we get our permission from, but sometimes things get spontaneous, and by any means necessary, we do an electrical box, and other times it's nice to work with City Hall and involve them, like the Muslim culture mural. I think it was amazing when that mural went through the permission process at City Hall. And yes, it took extra time than some of the flowers that get fast tracked through there because they're just kind of easy to get through City Hall. But for folks at City Hall to be part of that permission process and question, why is this important in our community? We just got nonprofit status just in January, so this is new for us. Joined as a project of the Center for Transformative Action. There's that Muslim culture mural on the lower left there. Amazing piece by Lachlan Chambliss, a Muslim artist chosen by Nagyan and other Muslim community members to paint that piece. Yeah. I have this slide in here in honoring Gino Bush as someone who really inspired me. So many amazing community leaders over the years. But it was Gino Bush and these teenagers, the teens at Ithaca High School that came up with this idea to change a street name named in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. And being part of that movement for 4.5 years inspired me and showed me like how this lens of recognizing there are streets and parks and buildings named for dead white folks, privileged folks, and how do we shift our cultural cityscape to honor our values, and that ability of like, yes, things can change, that we can do this. I love those images of the teenagers. And these next many slides, come through, so many different folks. Margaret Guo in the circle there in the center. She's now on the Ithaca Murals team as a teenager as part of the Youth Employment Service. And that's Chris Daly in the upper right, next to his first mural, with a handsome Squidward and Adinkra symbols at Southside Community Center. Yeah, so many of these. Reuse Center, it seems like once a year or a couple times a year, there's an amazing collaboration. I mentioned Cube Addiction Recovery Services as doing this huge, embarking, that's now the largest mural in Ithaca. It seems like once a year, there's these huge projects that commission Ithaca Murals to help, facilitate a large project or multiple projects. Reuse Center was that organization 2 years ago. There's the Corinne mural from, that came down. Getting out the vote, something inspired by Roberta, who's been such a election advocate, and especially, school board elections, and we've got local elections coming up in the next couple weeks, in 2 weeks. We have a goal to have voting themed murals in every school in Tompkins County at every level, elementary school all the way up to college. Some of these walls done with permission and some without. This was one of those huge collaborations. This was at the Science Center, 20 mini murals at the Science Center done by 20 different artists. This was last year's big collaboration with Wellbeing Pediatrics on 3rd Street, where we transformed the side of their building. I don't know if there's 13 murals on the side of that now, that each artist did a vertical piece. And there's room for more on the back of that wall if people want to paint.
Wow, I've actually never seen this one.
Down on 3rd Street, there's a Bolodrome down there. It's across from Bolodrome.
Mm-hmm.
These are the first maybe 50 some of the first 50 electrical boxes painted in the city. As of a couple months ago, there were 69. Now I think we're up to about 72. As Susan Eschbach and a couple other artists have painted their electrical boxes. And we've got another about 13 coming in the next month. Next 2 to 4 weeks, we've got another 15 going up to 13, 15 or so. And maybe some spontaneous ones too. This is the South Hill Rec Trail fence. It's a great place for people that, you know, first time muralists to have a go at it and add something to that fence. I saw a question in the chat about how many murals are in Ithaca. This is how many mural locations. So like well-being, we can think of that as one location, or the Science Center is one location, but here we are. I had a goal, I think coming up on a slide, it says we're on track for 100 murals this year. That we did 70 last year. We did 42 the year before that, 43 the year before that. We're on track for 100 murals. And there it is. And just recently, I think it's with the Cars mural that wore me out a little bit. I told the Ithaca Murals board, I'm going to be happy with 40 murals. You know, it's okay. Don't have to go too fast with this. And there's also, you know, people also recognize me as, Caleb, he's the one who makes all the murals in Ithaca happen. And I like to remind folks that, you know, I'm one of many, and the artist, the work that the artists are doing, and I'm here as an assistant. If people want to paint their first mural, or if people want to do a project and they want help, anybody, maybe it's their first time painting in Ithaca and they've done murals other places, or there's artists who are experienced and they're doing it without me, and I love that because it's less work for me to do. And I get to just, you know, help publicize those projects, help spread the word. And then this is a list here of some things to come. And ways, you know, we'd love your help, you know, jump in. Funding is helpful, of, you know, having walls. If I'm serious about wanting, you know, if you want a mural on your home, or anything that faces public, your fence or your garage, or if you want to collaborate, if you're part of an organization that would like to collaborate over the next year, I love doing that. That's the end of my presentation. If there's people that have questions or thoughts or anything at all, I see Norb on here. We're hoping to do some murals at the Ithaca Health Alliance over the next year. We're going to meet with Jay Stooks and Norma Gutierrez, or the two artists that they chose to possibly do that, and maybe some other artists to jump in on those. Certainly some big walls over there. I see Josiah on here with family and children. So at some point we'll do that back wall there. There's already a mural on the side of that building, and maybe we renew that, we refresh that with a new artist.
So it looks like there are, so the one question, how many murals are there to date total? Was that answered, Caleb? Did you answer that?
I was a little bit vague about it. I haven't done the math to know how many, but maybe on that slide there might have been 260. I don't know if anybody caught it, like locations. But then there's places like the South Hill Rec Trail that has like 50 different artists or more, you know, that have done that.
Okay.
There's
So
also
Caleb,
so many popping up that it's hard for me to keep track now.
Yeah.
So and that's a great thing when I go by and I see them, I say, oh, I didn't know about that one. Because I love that.
So you talked about people being contacting you if they're interested in having something on their house or whatever. What if there's a public location that they think, oh my God, this should have an Ithaca mural? Or can people recommend locations to you? And the second part of that question, you can choose not to answer this if you want, is there a place that you really want to get a mural that you haven't been able to get it there yet, or that is like your top 3 desired list of location that we could help with?
Oh, I like that. I like both. So on the first question, I get that one a lot. Like, oh, Caleb, the side of Wegmans,
Uh-huh.
as you're leaving Wegmans, there's this huge wall. I like it more when people say, I have access, this is my organization. That's a much easier, like, of course, I want a mural at Wegmans too. I would love the side of those big box stores. I would love, the CFCU building on the Commons up above, to by the Bernie Milton Pavilion and across from Center for Transformative Action, because for sure, Michelle Berry, when you had that house downtown on Buffalo Street, we never did that fence. It's okay. We'll do a project together sometime.
Yeah, we didn't, it was Bernderry's building. So I think I was trying to convince you to come in at night and we would do a co-op movement, but
Yes.
now it's owned by the people who own Mayroon Ramen own the milk stand. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how they are. They held up our home sale for a while, so I don't have any comment how meaningful they'd be.
But I know the folks that bought the house. So
Oh,
we'll
wonderful.
see-
We
we'll see
loved
how we
our
can do it.
buyers. They seem really nice. They're from Cali. So who knows? But yeah, we can talk offline. Milk stand might be difficult.
Here's a good one that was added to the chat, the Johnson Art Museum.
Yeah, collaborating with Jessica. What's Jessica's last name? Anybody? I'm forgetting. We met in Hadviva. See you, Josiah. We met, and yeah, there's potential for collaboration for sure. Especially as Jessica, the director, has some kids in the school district, so I'm hopeful for that.
So there's a question, gonna go back a little bit. Are the artists mostly local? Did you answer that one?
No, I didn't speak to this at all. It's a mix. I'd say the electrical boxes are certainly mostly locals. And even when we announced electrical boxes as a partnership with Get Your Greenback Tompkins a few months ago, and we awarded 15 different projects for 15 different electrical boxes to artists. We required all of those artists be local. But then I'd say it's a mix. It's a real mix of both locals and I think it's nice. It's a healthy thing to have a mix of both.
So this next question comes from Robin. How do you select the topics, and have you faced any public pushback about certain murals?
I like that. So in terms of choosing topics, I don't like to choose the topic or the artist. I have a bias towards wanting projects to have a justice element to them, or whether it's supporting artists of color, working class folks, frontline folks, as I mentioned before, and in our mission statement, but also wanting this to be an inclusive movement, really, really open to all. And so partnering with organizations, I really love organizations to choose, or individuals if it's your home, for you to look through this binder, of 100 different artists or more, 200 different artists to look through and choose. Because I don't want the artwork in this town to look like I did it. That's not fun. I want it to have that diversity, to grow organically. And what was the second question there, Gloria?
Have you faced any public pushback about certain murals?
Yeah. Whether it's Gloria, you know, we were talking before other people got on about what happens when we paint a Muslim honoring, paint a mural honoring Muslim culture, or
Yeah.
and sometimes it's painting the world we want to live in, you know, that honoring artists of color, you know, and so, or honoring, you know, Ms. Harmony, you know, that it's we get pushback about, you know, like, what about white artists? And I'm like, there's room for you too. You know, I'm as a white person myself, you know, I'm not a hater on white people, but it's striking that balance. What other pushback? Sometimes there's people that are really into graffiti, and then there's people into murals. And I think of Ithaca, you know, the movement we've been building as having a good balance of both, and there's people that do both. There's graffiti artists locally that we've been able to fund to do murals. There's muralists that we get out into the streets on the weekend and paint up an electrical box or a wall without permission. So I think there's a nice fluidity there. What other pushback?
So just really quick, sorry to interrupt while you think about some other pushback, but it's 12:34 and we invite people to hop off. We're going to keep going for a few more minutes, answer a couple more questions, but don't feel like you need to stay on. If you need to go, the programming is until 12:30, but we add a little bit more time so that we can ask and answer questions. So feel free to hop off if you need to.
Thanks, Gloria. Before you hop off, I'm
yes.
putting in the chat a little commercial for Community Foundation. We're throwing a party on Tuesday the 20th, which is a week from today. That's our annual celebration. And we hope you can join us at the Tompkins Center for History and Culture. So that's a way you can connect in person with another event.
Yay.
Thanks for letting me do that commercial, Gloria.
Absolutely. Okay.
Linda, good to see Linda Gasser and Emily. And
Always good to see Linda. Oh,
It's an interesting question.
Cool
I'm just looking.
question.
Yeah.
Are you planning to do something cool with your new house?
Yes. If you're talking murals, yes, absolutely. The inside feels a little overwhelming with the fixing that it needs, but I can't wait to get murals on that thing. Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Nice.
About to move and
next question is a question that needs to be and should be asked. So if the NRA chose to paint a gun, that would be okay. They are part of the public, and how do you manage that? We love to ask the hard questions.
I would say it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I guess that would be a question back to the community. You know, this is where I'm not choosing. There have been situations where, you know, it's like if Dan Bergevin, when one of his earlier designs of the Green New Deal mural had an American flag behind it. And AFCU owned that building, and I think they went with, he showed 3 different designs and they went with a different one. And I was curious, like, ooh, the American flag, like, for some of us, you know, that represents, that isn't such an inclusive symbol. But also, I think for Dan Bergevin as an artist, you know, thinking about the Green New Deal, wanting that balance, you know, there's, how do we integrate those things? And I thought, okay, you know, like, I'm gonna shut up. I'm not gonna, you know, this is where y'all can figure this out. But I wonder, you know, maybe there would be another flag that would pop up as a balance. I think it's part of our community dialogue. And I think guns are needed to be part of that. This, you know, we need to have these conversations. And so maybe if that one happened, maybe another mural would pop up somewhere else in response. You know, in the way that if that American flag was painted on there, that maybe there would be a Black nationalist flag or a rainbow flag, or, you know, maybe that would become part of our conversation. I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah, I love that. Is there an effort to fund maintenance and repair of the murals. I'm sure that would be
Mm.
fantastic, but Caleb, I think you should outline the fact that this has been a volunteer effort for you for decades, a long, long, long
For a
time.
decade, it was a volunteer effort for my first 10 years organizing murals. And now, you know, building this board, joining Center for Transformative Action, I have a small stipend of like $1,000 a month so far, or something like that, like, and hopefully building. But in terms of restoration, there are a couple murals that people have expressed wanting to restore. The 5 chiefs that are painted on Seneca Street at the Seneca Street garage. That one was painted in 2013, and the History Center and Downtown Ithaca Alliance and some other organizations have talked about, let's get together and fund Brandon to come back and add a new layer of paint to restore that one. And then the other one that particularly that comes to mind is the Underground Railroad mural on Green Street. That was the first mural I spearheaded organizing, an amazing mural by Jonathan Mattis of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, and some imagery related to the Underground Railroad. And so that one's been 13 years and is overdue for some restoration and renovation. And so our hopes is to have there's 5 Black artists that have expressed interest in doing a new rendition of the Underground Railroad mural, and a similar theme, still with Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, but with a 2023 twist. Linda, I see your hand up. Do you have a, how are you doing?
I noticed that somebody asked about cost, and maybe I missed that answer, but how much does it generally cost to do a mural? Or
Yeah.
Oh, I completely missed that one.
I like that. Thank you. It ranges. You know, sometimes it's community build, and we just painted one outside Cinemapolis where we just announced a day and community members could come, and Ithaca Murals brought paint, and Cinemapolis and Downtown Ithaca Alliance gave Ithaca Murals $500 for the paint and supplies and to facilitate that. And it was just like a free-for-all, kind of just like, let's see what happens when people just do something spontaneous. And some of the smaller, and the electrical boxes were funded by a grant that Get Your Greenback Tompkins got from Park Foundation. And so we honored each one of those artists with $450. Sometimes, I guess, something to say, you know, as a range, as people talked about the new Cars mural on Plain Street, done by Betsy Casanas and Mauricio Perez. That was a $20,000 project. And so that's a bit of a range. And people can also, you know, there's everything in between as well. And it's nice to honor artists and not have it be, you know, an afterthought about, you know, funding, you know, about, yeah. And I encourage people to buy artists' artwork and support, you know, the design work that goes into artists. And yeah, what happens when we, you know, these murals land in Ithaca, you know, these artists do the work to make these murals happen, and the impact they have is really great.
So other ways to support, Caleb, and maybe you can talk a little bit about your calendars, the calendars and the tours.
Calendars, tours. We've got these at Envious Handbags. Nisha, some of you know Nisha Butler has a handbag store right across from the library where we have calendars and mugs and different different, you know, the merch helps. I'd say the merch helps a little bit. I think it also gets things into people's homes and stuff. The grants, I guess, is really helpful. So I'm grateful for Community Foundation, and I see, you know, community arts partnership logos looking at me right there, you know, different people. But also all the ways help. everything.
The tours.
The tours, I lead tours once a month, and we've got a tour coming up with Community Foundation.
Yep,
Um,
that was the segue.
I like it.
The tours, yep, we do have a tour coming up actually this Saturday at 10:30. We are meeting here at the office, 200 East Buffalo Street, and there's a link that I added to the chat where you can RSVP. Space is limited, so get your spot. We can end with a lovely note from Ryan. I'm gonna read what he wrote in the chat. We loved working with Caleb and other artists to paint murals throughout the Science Center, especially new artists through the Mini Murals project last September. Caleb has also helped connect us with local artists like Molly Reagan, Justin Suarez, parentheses Aerosol Kingdom. The most recent mural at the museum was painted by Paulina
Malechkina.
An immersive rainforest painting portraying the natural habitat for our tortoise exhibit. Thanks, Caleb, and to these artists for helping connect local families with science through art. And that was from Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, for that. But if you do have additional questions, my email is in the chat, gcoicou@cftompkins.org. Or you can reach out to Caleb at ithacamurals.com, correct? Or is it .org, Caleb?
.com.
.com, perfect. ithacamurals.com.
But I'm
in the
easy to
chat.
find the people. Yeah.
Yep.
Google it. My email and phone number is public. I'm also going to put in the chat, artscapeithaca.com is a fun new game for young people and young people of all ages, where people can upload images of murals into this interactive map. And so if you want to tour through town, take a picture, take a selfie of you and your friends and upload it into this app. It's just a fun interactive map. It's just a web page that some Cornell students and designers, videographer, and I put together.
That's awesome. Super fun.
I want to thank everyone for being with us today, Caleb, for just helping us to understand the power of beauty and connection and space in which we cohabit with all other peoples in our community, and how wonderful it can be to work together on that. So as you walk around town, take a look around, make sure you share your interaction with those murals. And thank you very much, Caleb, for being with us today, and for all of you for joining Let's Talk, and Gloria for producing these. Our next one again is August 8th. It'll be with good folks from Challenge Workforce Solutions. Don't forget our tour on Saturday with Caleb, and our annual celebration on Tuesday, June 20th at the Tompkins Center for History and Culture. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.